It's a parade inside my city. Yeah.
And as governor, I believed in hemp and cannabis back then. I believe in it even more now.
We are really trying to understand this. How is it that you boys think referring to gay people as fags in today's world is acceptable?
Because we're not referring to gay people. You can be gay and not be a fag. Yeah, a lot of fags aren't gay.
I happen to be gay, boys. Do you think I'm a fag?
Do you ride a big loud Harley and go up and down the streets ruining everyone's nice time?
No.
Then you're not a fag.
Yes, yes, yes. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Been a little bit. It's been a little bit. Let's see here. Let's do a quick recap of life. I don't really have too much to talk about. I'm taking a break from all the heavy shit right now. There's only so much shit you could read about, you know, about how the government is fucking you up the ass to where you just got to be like, all right, bro. I know they're fucking me. I just got to ignore it. Be entertained by I actually watched the women's college basketball. I watched the Final Four, and then I watched the championship game that happened today, or earlier today. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I've never had any interest in women's sports other than volleyball, of course. But these hoes can hoop. They can hoop now. They have that white girl, Caitlin Clark, from Iowa. I mean, she's shooting, she's putting up Kobe shot attempts. So, of course, she's going to score a lot. But, man, if that motherfucker can't pull up off a dribble or pull up off of a motherfucking screen, and she could fucking pass. Shout out to LSU women's basketball team. So my theory was wrong. My theory was always organized white girls in sports. I've always had a theory that they can beat any ethnicity when it comes to organized sports. Not fighting, but organized sports. So I've always had the theory, theory was, disciplined white soccer players from pretty much elementary to the pros are going to be better than Mexican soccer players. And it works. I always thought it worked that way with basketball as well. I always thought organized white girls could beat, black girls at basketball. And part of it is because of the coaching. You could coach a white woman relatively easy. It's you got to work to coach a black woman. Black women don't want to be coached. My theory got smashed. It got smashed today though, because LSU pretty much beat the shit out of the Iowa team, which was predominantly white. And I mean, honestly, I was going for LSU because I'm always going to go for whoever has the majority of black people, anyways. And it's not a race thing, quite frankly, folks. I don't even want to get into it. Let's see here. I just watched Roman Reigns beat Cody Rhodes to retain his, I guess the championships for the WWF. He has two of them. Night before that, Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens beat the Usos for the tag team championships. I was more into the night yesterday, Saturday night. So I don't know when WrestleMania started being two nights, but apparently it's been two nights. And again, I really just started getting back into wrestling heavy this year because of the Sami Zayn and the Usos and the Bloodline. Yeah, I chose not to go out Saturday night to stay in and watch and illegally stream, allegedly, the WrestleMania. So does that make me gay? Probably. But at least I have my priorities in order. Let me see. Prior to that, oh god, this is why I fucking love mushrooms. So prior to that, my nigga Dez hits me up, and he's like, "Yo, it's gonna be a group of us going out to West 7th, you know, and we haven't been out together in a minute." Lo and behold, I went out, and it turns out, like, literally, all of the homies, went out, which was dope. And I'm always apprehensive about going out, because even when I am, most of the time I just, I just smoke whenever I go out. I might have a drink or two. But I'm always, I'm always on edge. I'm always on guard. I'm always making sure, like, shit isn't going to pop off. And if shit pops off, I want to be ready. But so I get out to West 7th, find a perfect parking spot. I checked with the security guard like 25 times to make sure I could park there. I was like, "Yo, is this like public parking?" Because I did not believe the parking spot I was getting. He was like, "Yeah, that's straight." Then I parked, got out, asked him again. He was like, "Yeah." So I started walking back. I started walking towards where the homies were at. Then I went back. I was like, "Bro, I cannot afford to get my shit towed. Are you sure I can fucking park right here?" He was like, "Bro, I got you." And I was like, "All right, bet." So met up with them. And again, when I go out, I'm always, always apprehensive, making sure. But this time, I introduced mushrooms into the mix. Only time I've ever had, only time I've ever eaten mushrooms is, is when I'm solo dolo, because I plan on going, because I go deep. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be functionable. But I was like, why not? Even though they were cooked in they were made with processed sugar because they were gummies. I'm not going to turn down mushrooms. They could have been in fucking dog shit and I might have ate them. Actually, and I need to release the recording, because when I took the 5 grams of mushrooms, when I took a piss, well, like as I was coming down, when I took a piss, I don't know if I talked about this before. I felt like I have, but when I was taking a piss, a thought that has never ever entered into my into my mind space before, a thought popped into my body as I was taking a piss, and this is gonna sound weird, but if you've done mushrooms before, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you haven't, you don't know what the fuck you're missing. That's actually what I want to do. I actually want to open up like a center, and I want to be like a low key shaman, and I want to start facilitating the mushroom experience for people, because I feel like everybody in the fucking world should do at least 3.5, anywhere between 3.5 to the hero's dose, which is 5 grams of mushrooms. Everybody in the world, especially if you plan on running for fucking office. If you plan on holding any position of power, I think you should probably take a high dose mushroom trip every 90 days. Every 90 to 180 days, I would say that was fair. You don't want to do it too much, because I could for sure see your mind getting lost in there. It takes a couple of days. Oh, okay, let me get back to my thought. So as I was pissing and I was coming down from the mushrooms, a thought naturally hit. Like, it was natural. And I didn't do it. I know what you're thinking. You're going to think I did it when I say it, but I swear to God, I didn't fucking do it. I was like, yo, I should drink my piss. And I swear to God, I was 50-50 on it. Like, I was legitimately thinking about drinking my piss, because the fucking trip the mushroom trip was so great. I didn't want it to end because as it was ending, like, you know, as you're in another, you're in this dimension, but there's another dimension that is only accessible to whenever you're on mushrooms. And when you're leaving that dimension, you your mind starts to slowly patch things together, and then you're like, and my thoughts were, and I have this on the recording. I need to release the full thing, but my thoughts were like just getting back to regular reality. I was like, yo, we have fucked this whole thing up. That's the whole thing. That's like the biggest thing I was thinking of as I was coming back from as, you know, as that realm was leaving me and I was coming back to real reality. I was like, yo, we have fucked this whole world up. There is no way we were ever intended to, if you're going with the official narrative and you don't think we're already in a simulation theory, but I was like, there's no way we were put on this earth to fucking be living in just living in these communities and then having to go to work. It's just, we have society fucked up. This isn't life. Life is what the people out there with the Hadza tribe do. Like, that's life. Their life is fucking nothing matters but the hunt, because if we don't hunt, we don't eat. And we have shit way too fucking easy. Shit got so fucking easy for us that we decided we needed to start fucking paying bills like some fucking retards. Again, this is why everybody needs to do anywhere between 3.5 to 5 grams. And if you're planning on holding position in a higher office, positions of power, you need to take anywhere between 5 to 15 grams. And it should be mandatory. Where was I going with the mushroom story? Oh yeah. So I went out, went against my better judgment, went against what Kevin Gates would suggest, and I ate the mushrooms with the processed sugar, and they were gummy form, so I took 2, and it didn't give me access to the realm. I did get the giggles. The giggles did start happening. And the giggles, I'm fucking going all over everywhere with the story, but the giggles, usually when the giggles start happening, that's when shit starts to get real during the trip. But this time I got the giggles and I was able to control the giggles. But I got the giggles because I was with my fucking, our barber came out. which is how you know it was a special occasion. I don't even know what it was for. I don't know why niggas was out, but my nigga Nike was there. Nike's been in and out of jail since I was in the Navy. He was there. Again, my nigga Dez was there. My nigga Bogan was in town. Greg the barber, OG Cam, everybody, all my niggas was out there. And I was talking with Greg. We were at this little bar pre-gaming before we went to Bottle the Blonde, and I was with Greg and this chick, this badass Mexican chick who was with this badass white girl. See, this is unintentional because if you recall earlier to the episode when I was talking about, it doesn't matter. So as I was talking with Greg, this badass Mexican chick just comes up to Greg and gives Greg a hug. And I'm like, oh, Greg, like, you know her? Like, I was happy because I was like, bet I could talk to this white girl now. But as she was giving her a hug, like, she just interrupted me and Greg's conversation. And as she was hugging her, my nigga Cam was in the background, making the funniest faces. He was making like little Boosie eyes. If you know what the Boosie eyes are, you know, like whenever he opens his eyes real wide, you know, he has super dark skin and all you can see is the white. That's what Cam was doing in the background. Had me fucking giggling. Turns out after the girl left from having her conversation with Greg, because I was just sitting there giggling and I'm like, yo, I bet she thinks that I'm laughing at her, but I swear to God I'm not. I'm laughing at Cam making faces at you. As she leaves, I was like, yo, Greg, who the fuck is that? And Greg was like, yo, I have no idea. He was like, I don't think I knew. He was like, I thought she was another chick. And he was like, I was having a whole nother conversation with her and about work. And she was like, no, I don't do that. And he was like, oh. But anyways, started catching the giggles there. Let me stay with the Mexican girl who was with the white girl. 'Cause they ended up being lesbians. And fellas, I got to tell you, I've been off porn for a little bit now, so I haven't been watching porn. So I've been fapping to memory. So I'm gonna jump timelines here, but later, as soon as I got home from the club, I for sure fapped to the mental image of these girls because they just started fucking kissing. And again, if you're off porn for a minute and you're just jacking off from memory, you know, your memory can only go, you know what I mean? And then after a while, it's like, yo, is this shit even consensual? Like, should I get permission from girls who I'm jacking off to my memory to? Like, is there some sort of weird, is that like cosmic rape? You know what I mean? Like, am I cosmically raping these women? And, you know, sometimes it even goes to the bad sexual experience. You know, one time I was trying to fap and I was thinking of this chick, and then my mind went to the time when my dick wasn't working, and I was like, oh, fuck. And that just ruined the whole fucking jerk-off session. Damn, I don't even know where the fuck I was going with this fucking conversation. Oh, yeah. So me and Greg sat and watched these two beautiful lesbians. I respect lesbians so much, especially when they're beautiful and they're like they're trying to be women and not trying to be like butches. You know what I mean? Like, I don't respect a lesbian who has a crew cut. But, you know what I mean? Anyways. Let's see. That was later in the night. I did end up jacking off to the mental videotape I took of them kissing and feeling on each other. Because they were doing this shit, like, right in front of us. And I was like, I don't know if they're inviting me and Greg but they were making, and this could be corroborated. They were making eye contact. You know what I mean? But I've been so afraid of getting Me Too'd. Not that I haven't, you know what I mean? That sounds crazy. How I just said that seems like, it probably sounds like I have done something that is Me Too worthiness, but it's not. I just don't want to, men have been so hammered down to like scary to even just say hello to a woman in public because you don't know how she's going to interpret that. But anyways, what the mushrooms ended up doing later on that night, and I didn't realize till the next morning, was the mushrooms, it gave me the ability to take that like governor off my brain. So slowly throughout the night, I stopped like watching the room for shit to pop off, and then I started like watching the room for women and like shit to have fun with, if that makes any sense. So like so we ended up getting the bottle of blonde. I don't know how we did it, but we finessed a section at Bottle of Blonde, and this is why, like, this is why you need to have good friends, because in the section next to us was was just like were like these Mexican dudes, and they were there with a couple of women or whatever, and one of the women, she had fell out. She fell out, and like they just like her friends just like picked her up, put her on the couch, and then 5 minutes later she was up and back at it, and she was fucking going again. And then the next thing you know, boom, she fell out again. And this time she was out. Like, she was out on the ground for a minute. And then security was like, hey, y'all got to go. So they kicked them out. And then the security was like, hey, y'all could just take part of this section as well. So then we had an even bigger section. And it was, this is how I know the universe wanted me to have fun that night. Because when we first got into Bottle of Blonde, when we went to the bar, the bar that we, the bar is in the middle, but the side of the bar that we went to ended up being right by the section that we got. And so in the section that was next to the Mexican people that I got kicked out, before we had got into our section, I peeped this. Oh my God, this girl, she was so fucking beautiful. I peeped her. She was in an orange dress, bad as fuck. And I'm a sniper. If I do decide to shoot at a woman in a club, I'm only shooting one time. Because I don't have it in me anymore to get told no, and then I can't just shake that shit off and then go talk to the next woman. You know what I mean? So most of the time, like, I'll be stuck looking before like actually making a move, you know what I mean, to go talk to somebody. But anyways, I saw her and I was like, and in my mind, I was like, yo, that's the one. If I do decide to talk to any girl in this club tonight, like, it's going to be her. And so we get the section, and then I noticed, I was like, yo, this is like, I'm kind of being a creep, but I'm not, you know what I mean? But again, I have one bullet in the chamber. And so I got to make my shot count. And you know, we did laps. It's not like I saw her and was just locking onto her from the get-go. We did laps around the club. So as we get into our section, I'm like, yo, she's only like 2 sections down. You know what I mean? So it's it's our section, the Mexicans, and then her section. And then when the Mexicans that got kicked out because the girl kept falling out, when security was like, hey, y'all could take over this as well. Bro, we had like 15 people with us, so our little section was already kind of tight enough. So he was like, y'all can have this one as well. So I was like, bet, nigga, I pretty practically jumped to where the people that just got kicked out at, just so I could be within a few feet away. And I couldn't find a way to get her attention naturally. Plus, she kept talking to this dude, and I was like, oh, this probably got to be her boyfriend. But anyways, night goes on. We're having a good fucking time. Drink a little bit, smoke a lot, and the mushrooms really just was able to, or I was like, wasn't worried about getting jumped. I wasn't worried about getting shot. And when you go out in Fort Worth, like a lot, like if you're from Fort Worth, that's on the back of your mind. And if you just, you know, if you've been through some shit, that's probably on the back of your mind. And it's not like it's fucking West 7th, so it's not even a bad area. You know what I mean? But anyways, club lets out, and as I'm walking out, the girl who I want to holler at this whole time, she walks past me, and I say something to her, and she's like, it's my birthday. But she was with her friend, and her friend was like, come on. You're like, you know, cock blocking the shit, just being a bitch. You know what I mean? She's probably a Girl Scout. So then I was like, damn, that was my chance. I was like, but hey, at least I said something, because usually I won't even say anything. And I was like, yo, you know, at least I said something. Then we get outside, we get to talking outside, and again, it's the mushrooms. I'm giving praise to the mushrooms because the fungi, because mushrooms are funguses for those of you who are fucking idiots. But the fungus was like, yo, bro, you've been dedicated to the grind. You've been off porn. You deserve this. So again, she walks out and I'm like, well, damn, that was the last time I'm ever going to talk to her. We get outside. We get to talking. I look over and she's a few feet away. And as I'm looking at her, I'm like, well, this is now or never. Some dude comes up, not the dude that she was talking to in the club, but some dude comes up and tries to talk to her friend. And then her friend is like, no. And then, it's, the classic dude move is, well, fuck you, bitch. You know what I mean? Like, this really happened. He was trying to holler at her friend, and then her friend was like, no. And then he was like, fuck you, bitch. And then the girl who I want to talk to, she was like, get the fuck out of here. And she said it in like in a Mexican voice. And if you've ever seen the movie Colors, when the Mexican girl is like, when she's talking to Pac-Man, and she's like, so what, Pac-Man? And she has like that slight Spanish accent. That's how this girl said it. And I was like, oh, immediately dick went on hard. You know what I mean? Again, when you're off porn, just seeing a woman sometimes will make your dick hard. You know what I mean? Like, I am so glad. But anyway, so so the girl that I want to holler at is telling the dude that tried to holler at her friend, fuck you. You know what I mean? And so, I don't know why, but I told the girl that I just walked up to her. I was like, hey, that dude gives you any problems? I was like, we'll fuck him up. And I pointed at my group of homeboys. Long story short, got her number. But as I was getting her number, she was like, I don't know if I can answer it. And I was like, well, why not? She was like, because I have a boyfriend. And I was like, oh, I don't know. It was weird. It was the mixed feelings because I was like, damn. I was like, well, obviously, because she was bad as fuck. I was like, well, obviously, she's not in here single by herself. You know what I mean? But then it's like, damn. Like, then it's like, I don't know. She went from being bad as fuck to me, and she still is, to being, I don't know. Like, it's like, damn, like, she had a boyfriend and I was able to get her number. And I believe her boyfriend wasn't too far away from us because I was telling her to type it in my phone. She was like, no, I can't. She was like, I can't type it in, but I can give it to you. Yeah, weird shit. I'm sure you don't give a fuck. But it was good going out, socializing. I'm happy that I'm actually sticking to, and this doesn't sound like a big deal to a lot, you know what I mean? But again, being spontaneous and like going out, having fun. If you know me and if you actually know me, you know that for a while, like, I didn't go out again because I wanted to be Mr. Business. I was, Grant Cardone, why are you hanging out with your friends from high school? And then I realized, like, all those motherfuckers are suckers anyways. You know what I mean? Like, obviously you don't want to be hanging out with everybody from high school, but like, I'm hanging out, like, I hang out with the same dudes that, like, we form real life shit with, like, from like middle school days. You know what I mean? Like, we've been through some real life shit together. Anyways, it was great. The mushrooms the mushrooms didn't open up the portal, but they did ease my mind a little bit, and I'm super thankful for that. Again, this is the Kobe episode. This is episode 24. Wanted it to be a little special. Did you guys know that George H.W. Bush, he was the first and only ever U.S. president to be the head of the CIA, the Central Intelligence Agency? He was the head of it, I think, the year before he got elected, which is suspicious as fuck. But again, the deep state, they have their winners. They know who they want to put in there. But it was even crazy how he got because he was just named director of the CIA, and there was on the books there was no prior information to him working for them, because I think he was like a senator or a governor or something like that. But obviously he was working with the CIA way longer than before he was hired on to be the, like he went from being on the books, he went, you know what I mean? And again, they just try to cover shit up. They're always trying to cover shit up. But he was never on the books as working for CIA, and then miraculously he's hired on to be the director, like the head of the Central Intelligence Agency. And then the year after that, he becomes president of the United States. And that's when HW has a lot to do with what happened with his son. You know what I mean? Like, niggas always thought that the Chappelle skit when he was like, niggas tried to kill my father, son. That niggas tried to kill my father. Like, niggas just thought, they were being funny because the World Trade Center happened on his, that shit happened whenever he was president. The 93 bombing. Wait, or did the 93 bombing, let me check that. Who was president during the 93 bombing? Okay, so HW had just got out of office a month and 6 days before the bomb happened. But HW, he has a lot of shady business dealings. So a lot of this shit that happens is because of the Saudi Arabians. Like, the Saudis are deeply involved in every terror attack. Like, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but when we attacked Iraq, Iraq was not involved with the September 11th attacks. I think they said 9 out of the 13 people that hijacked the planes were from Saudi Arabia. Excuse me, were from Saudi Arabia. But this is supposed to be a chill episode. I'm not going to get too much into but look at what HW was doing before he was president and then while he was president, and then you could see that it set the course for what happens September 11th, you know what I mean? And again, they had prior knowledge to the planes getting hit. Condoleezza Rice had a memo in August, like August 6th, so a month and 5 days before the 9/11 attacks happened. Condoleezza Rice literally had received a memo, and it said, warning, Osama bin Laden planning to hijack planes and attack somewhere in Manhattan. Again, prior knowledge, but you guys know that. You know what I mean? Like, again, we know the government is fucking us. We just have to find out a way to block out the pain. You know what I mean? And keep it fucking pushing. Let's see here.